Sure must be nice being the good guy.
Wreck-It Ralph spent 30 years of his life as an underappreciated and tortured bad guy. While the hero of his game, Felix Junior, was praised, beloved, and granted pies, as a professional wrecker, Ralph was reduced by the citizens of his world to be a monstrous destroyer. For simply being a bad guy, he was left alone in his dump, forced to live below the other characters of his game. Until he had enough.
Only good guys win medals, and you, sir, are no good guy.
Ralph left his game with the goal of proving he could be a good guy. But no matter what he did, he never could distance himself from his labels, emotions, and destruction. And today, I want to figure out why. Hello, I'm Isaac from Wotso Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people. I'm all about spreading the magic of Disney, so with the release of Ralph Breaks the Internet, I think it's time to grab your magic hammer, your favorite cookie medal, and your candy race car, because we are diving into the original Wreck-It Ralph to discuss why Ralph can't be a good guy. By the way, if you'd like to learn more about Ralph after the video, I provided all the links to the movies and the resources I used in the description. After so many years of misery and torment, Ralph was determined to find a way to become beloved, appreciated, and happy, and he wanted to accomplish all of this by transforming into a good guy. To show he can be a good guy to Felix and all the Nicelanders who feared him and put him down, Ralph wins a medal and brings it back to his game, but then receives nothing for his accomplishment. Although he fought and struggled for the opportunity to show he could do something no one expected from him, to show he was more than his bad guy reputation, seeking out his goal left his game and himself empty. And the truth is, the more I looked into Ralph's story, the more I realized he could never alter his life to make this change occur. For one, his life is tethered to his game. If Felix Junior was unplugged or Ralph perished in another game, Ralph's life could end. Thus, if Ralph simply rejects his role as the bad guy and the wrecker in his program to leave and start to live in another game, he would leave the citizens of Nicelands and his own life in a terrible position.
Without Ralph, we're doomed!
Ralph fills a role in his game, just like Felix. Without Ralph, the game can't function, so leaving the Nicelanders without a villain would leave the game unplayable and surely on its way to be unplugged. He can't dismiss his life as a bad guy without ending his game and the lives of the Nicelanders, which would be a selfish and bad act. Either Ralph has to play the bad guy or becomes one.
I've got a job to do too. May not be as fancy as being president, but it's my duty.
He is forced to continue to be the villain of Felix Junior to protect his own life and the individuals around him, leaving Ralph's ability to alter his relationship with good and evil to be practically impossible. Ralph's world forces him to be a bad guy, and so does his programming. Although Ralph desires to be more than the villain of his game, it becomes difficult for him and others to see beyond his bad guy persona because Ralph was programmed to be a wrecker with a temper.
You're just the bad guy who wrecks the building.
He is a pre-programmed character whose personality, backstory, powers, and abilities were coded for his game. Now, Turbo reveals to us manipulating the code of games is possible. By the way, you can get this Turbo shirt over at my merch store at wotsostore.com. But changing code comes with great repercussions. When Turbo attempted to remain a part of the most popular game in Litwack's arcade, he hacked the new racing game Road Blasters, leading to the removal of both Road Blasters and Turbo Time. Later, when Turbo received the opportunity to hack Sugar Rush, he altered the world, manipulated memories to create minions for himself, and ruined individuals' lives. Most notably, the life of Princess Vanellope von Schweetz. Changing the worlds and minds within arcade games is feasible, but I think Turbo shows us that those selfish actions come at the cost of others. Since Ralph cannot abandon his own game, the only way for Ralph to transform himself into a fundamentally different individual, to truly be a good guy, I think he would have to be willing to intentionally alter and likely damage the lives of Felix and the Nicelanders or the citizens of another game so he could change the code for the world and himself. Ralph would have to alter their memories, change the structure of the game, and hurt people like Turbo did. Similarly to how if Ralph rejected his bad guy role, he would show his true selfishness, for Ralph to become a coded good guy, he would reveal his self-centered and villainous nature. But no matter what Ralph does to attempt to change his image, I think a part of him will always hold on to his original purpose. Similarly to how Vanellope held onto her racer identity even without her memories.
I know I'm
eraser. I can feel it in my coat.
I don't think Ralph can ever separate himself entirely from his rage and destruction. He could not live without knowing being a bad guy is who he was developed to be. There's no way to liberate Ralph from being a bad guy. Either he will exist his entire life being seen as a bad guy, or he will actually become a villain, rejecting or altering his bad guy role in an attempt to no longer be seen as one. Ralph can never be a good guy, which I find tragic. Ralph's goal of transforming into a good guy is unable to come to reality. He wants to rewrite his story to make himself happy, but no matter what he does, he can't change that part of him.
I tried to be a good guy, but I'm not. Just a bad guy.
And truthfully, I don't love the idea Ralph set out to become something and then fails. I kind of struggled initially with that lesson Ralph has to endure. I want Ralph to be able to become whatever he wants. I want his world and our world to be set up where if you put in the work, you can achieve your dreams no matter what. But that's not what happens to Ralph. Ralph cannot escape his bad guy identity.
We can't change who we are, and the sooner you accept that, the better off your game and your life will be.
As Zombie explains,
Labels not make you happy. Good, bad. You must love you.
what Ralph believed to make his life meaningful, fulfilling, and happy was to become a good guy, but the truth was he needed to learn to accept himself, and he does that through a connection. The Nicelanders and Felix initially don't provide him friendship or support, but through his adventures in the arcade, Ralph builds his first relationship with Vanellope. The two bond over their similar situations, and they spend time goofing off and joking around, leading to Ralph to truly care about someone, and for the first time feel a sense of acceptance from someone else. With the realization friends will embrace who he is, and with his friend in danger, Ralph comes to grasp that even though he was created to be a bad guy, he must become self-aware, recognize his gifts, and trust who he is if he hopes to save her. It's up to him to make decisions that will define him.
I got some wrecking to do.
His bad guy abilities don't have to be used for evil. The unique gifts Ralph possesses instead can be used to allow him to protect those he cares about, and by doing this, he learns it's okay to be a bad guy.
I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me.
Ralph initially dreams of becoming a good guy, but his world and code restrict that evolution. Although I wanted Ralph to be able to accomplish any goals he worked towards, I realized either Ralph will exist his entire life within the role as a bad guy, or by attempting to reject or transform his purpose, he would become a true destructive and selfish villain. There was no escaping Ralph's existence as a bad guy. But that's okay. By remaining a bad guy, Ralph was able to find his best friend, learn to accept himself, and redefine what being good meant to him. He began his journey to be a good guy to create a better life for himself, and at the end, he does find happiness. As you can see, it is getting into the Christmas season here at my dorm room. And I hope you're getting excited because I've got a lot of different cool ideas coming up this month, including some Christmas ideas. Rise of the Guardians and The Grinch are two ideas that are definitely swirling in my head. But until then, it's time for the question of the day, sponsored by my patrons. To become a patron yourself, check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/WotsoVideos. Have you seen Ralph Breaks the Internet? I thought it was a really fun movie, and I was excited to be able to see all of the Disney princesses interacting. If you have seen the movie, what are some questions you'd like me to discuss from the film? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, along with any other ideas you have for future Discovering Disney episodes. If you enjoyed discussing Ralph, then click that like button, and if you're interested in staying up to date with more magical videos, then click that subscribe button, and please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you'd like to see more Wotso videos, then check out some awesome pics over here, and as always, thanks for watching and have a magical day.